You're listening to the Military Working Mom podcast with Drea Jones, episode 37, How to Easily Get Your Breast Pump and Pumping Supplies Accessories Through Tricare, with the founder and CEO of the Breastfeeding Shop, Patty Gatter. Hey ladies, so today we are speaking with the CEO and founder of the Breastfeeding Shop, Patty Gatter. And I don't know if you were like me, but when I was pregnant, navigating everything and the checklist of what I had to do, because, we are very checklist oriented in the military, it was a little overwhelming. And I had no idea how to get or when to get my breast pump, what that meant, what supplies came with it, what I needed, what other accessories were included, and all of that for which was covered under Tricare and what was I going to pay out of pocket. So today, to solve all those mysteries, we've got Patty, and I'm so excited to have her on board and tell her story and how she can help us all no matter what coverage we have through Tricare. So with that, welcome to the podcast, Patty.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I appreciate it.
Well, I think all of us are excited for you to be here because navigating getting a breast pump through Tricare and all the accessories that come along with it can be a daunting task when no one has really known the process unless they've done it before. And if they have, it's finding that person that understands that niche and getting their help. And, it changes year after year with what coverage you're under or what Tricare is covering that year, what region you're in. So I am happy you're on just to kind of dispel any facts so that you may have and help us along the way. So first, you are the owner and founder, and CEO of the Breastfeeding Shop, which is an amazing company. I'm glad you started it, but I kind of want to know a little bit about you and how you started that.
Well, I could talk all day long, but about that. But I'm a mom. I'm a proponent of breastfeeding, obviously, and the military is primarily my focus. We do work with other insurances, but very near and dear to my heart. So, once I became a mom, I started this business for my kids. Really, I always say that because I did not want to ever miss anything happening, with regarding to my kids. So I said, I've always been an entrepreneur. And one day I just turned to my husband and said, hey, we're going to be eating rice and beans for, I don't know how long. And do you support me? And he literally said, yeah, go for it, which, it has been amazing. So, I started off in a little 300 square foot building in the summer, and my kids were with me all summer long. I felt like such a terrible mother, but that was their best summer ever. They still finally remember that. And it just started with a passion for helping women. I always say, like I just had said before, that the Breastfeeding Shop, and I always tell my staff, because I grew a staff to 15 people now, but I always tell them, listen, you have to approach your job. We're not selling breast pumps. We're helping other women. So that's our mindset internally, and it's just a lot of fun. So I love it, and it's my third baby.
That's awesome, and I appreciate the mindset because we, like I said before, one, it's not our money, it's Tricare, right? But we just don't know where we need to stand with breast pumps. There's hands-free, there's ones that aren't reimbursed, and your staff having that mindset can really help us navigate what's good for us and our intentions with our breastfeeding journey, whether that's boob or bottle, right? Because there's so many different routes you can take.
Yeah, they're a great tool to help whatever you want to do. So when I had my kids, I'm not that old, but it's a relatively new benefit. So they're 11 and 14. But I sit there and I think about Tricare, the benefit all day long. I have dreams about it, but I work very closely with all of the regions, right? With Health Net Federal Services and Humana and even Tricare overseas. And they're all a little bit different, but for the most part, they're the same. But this is our lives over. So my goal is to take that off of you guys, and we will handle all of that stuff for you and educate you. Even if you have questions about breast pumps, we always, whenever a new breast pump is introduced, I get the sample and I give it to find whatever mom is pumping at the time. And we take, kind of the research and study really seriously. And then we do a meeting with everybody so we all understand the pump. And real recently, these wearable pumps are kind of really popular, but we take the research because we can represent every breast pump out there. So we're really into kind of really understanding and fit the needs of the mom that's going to be pumping.
All right, so I want to dive in to what Tricare covers and doesn't cover, because when I was browsing your website, it surprised me that actually Tricare covers now compression socks. So first, let's just start with the different regions and pumps. How can we navigate Tricare with what they cover?
So Tricare covers the breast pump at 27 weeks or more of pregnancy, right? So all we need is a prescription from your physician, and it has to be signed by the physician. The Tricare, they revise stuff. It's an amazing policy, amazing coverage for the breast pump. So I'm very grateful, and all my friends that are in the military are very grateful for the coverage. So it's really solid coverage, and more than other insurances actually do cover. But so, they cover a wide variety of breast pumps. All these companies are a little bit different of what they will offer per the insurance. So on the website, if you actually choose Tricare, we offer a really big variety. And I made it that way because I think the pumps all operate a little bit differently. But long story short, Tricare does cover a breast pump. All the regions cover a breast pump, which is great. And they cover breast milk storage bags as well. So without a prescription, you can get, with your initial shipment, you can get 90 breast milk storage bags. And then after the birth event, then you can get an accessory kit, some resupplies. But it has to be about 30 days after the baby's been born, because they want to make sure that you actually need those items rather than just sending them out beforehand. So, 27 weeks or more, you get the breast pump and 90 milk storage bags. And then after the baby's been born, within that 30 days plus, then you can get more accessories and 90 milk storage bags every month. And the accessory replacements are, bottles, flanges, tubing, valves and membranes, which is great. Tricare now covers valves and membranes. And those are those little things that look like a duckbill valve. I don't know if you know, but that's great news, because we were pushing for that, because that really helps your breast pump last longer, because those little things can get pretty dirty. And a lot of times, the milk gets built up on those. And some moms will call and say, why isn't my breast pump working? And it's because they need to, swap that out. So that is a covered benefit this year as well. So if you need more milk storage bags, you can get a prescription from your physician, and you can get up to 180. Now, Tricare overseas sort of limits it to 90. They're not recognizing that to the best of my knowledge, but the other regions, you can get up to 180 breast milk storage bags. So it's great without a prescription too. That's ongoing for up to 36 months. If you want more accessories than that initial replacement set, you do not require a prescription. Tricare does not require a prescription. But if you need more than that, like say you realize a lactation consultant tells you that you need a 32 millimeter flange, then all you would need is a prescription, and they will cover it. So hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So I would say before baby, I had no idea what a flange was, or even the valves. So when those came, I was like, oh, where did these go?
Yeah.
That was definitely, for any mom to be out there, that's your first, and you've never seen a breast pump. The first time you look at it, you kind of really don't know what to use it or how to use it. So don't be afraid to ask any mom or look up on YouTube on how to work it.
I'm working on a YouTube video, but I wanted to say one quick thing about the flanges.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest question that we get all the time. And a lot of the moms will order, if they think they're a 21 millimeter flange before the baby, but we always encourage them. What usually comes with the breast pumps is a 24 millimeter. So once you start breastfeeding, a lot changes. So we always encourage to utilize that benefit. Don't order something up front because you measured your nipple size or something like that, because it's probably not real accurate. So I always say, just wait until after the birth event, unless you really know, and this is like your fifth child. So
yeah, and that's a good point. So with every birth, can you get a pump, or does different regions recognize it in different, year increments?
It's every birth event.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Has that changed? Because I
Yes.
thought it was every 3 years. Like you can't get a new one until every 3 years.
No, it's with every birth event. Now, if you want to use your old breast pump, right, the breast pump from your first birth event, then you have two choices. You can either just get replacement accessories, right? Or you can get a new breast pump.
That's awesome. That's great
Yeah.
news,
Yeah.
especially since I had no idea. All right.
Yeah.
So now I do want to ask, does every region cover the same breast pumps, or does some not recognize, certain brands? I don't know if maybe there's a dollar difference that they cover across the regions that are different.
Yeah, the reimbursement to the breastfeeding shop is the same regardless of what but all the regions are the same. It's across the board. There are some pumps, like the wearable pumps, that are really, really expensive, and those are considered luxury models. So Tricare won't cover the luxury models, but they do cover part of it, and then you can apply your benefit and have an out-of-pocket to get, if you want one of those more expensive pumps. Like Tricare, you can get the S1 at no charge. You can get the S2, which are very popular. The Spectra pumps, very popular. The Baby Buddha, a bunch of pumps we offer. The Freeme, the Medela. Technology is constantly changing, but we offer a big variety of pumps that are 100% covered, and that remains consistent throughout every region. And if you have Tricare Prime, Select, or Reserve, that it does not change.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad it's standard across the board, especially when we keep moving. And honestly, some women move in between, like while they're pregnant or right after, and that coverage changes and what they can get. So I'm glad it's the same across the board. So now to the accessories, because I think that's really interesting. What does Tricare truly cover, and how can we go about getting the accessories?
So after your baby's been born, if you need more different size flanges, if you need more tubing, if you need more collection bottles, the valves and membranes, they cover 6 pairs. You can get those at no charge, don't need a prescription. If you need them, you can get them, and that's all a covered benefit, and the 90 milk storage bags. If 6 months down the road a flange cracks or something like that, and you need more, then all you would need is to get a prescription from your physician for the additional items, or if you need more breast milk storage bags. Now, with the breast milk storage bags, you do not need a new prescription, and you can order those monthly.
So what do you mean you don't need a new prescription? Do you just need that initial one saying that, you need more than 80 or 90? Because I know the Kind bags only do 80 because that's what they ship in, right?
That makes me crazy. Kind actually came out with a new bag specific for Tricare. So it's a direct-to-pump bag. It's great. They packaged it in 90. I don't know how, this was kind of an arbitrary number. I'm still trying to figure out the 90 because they're packaged in 50s, right? Like Lancino, or multiples of 80. So some moms say, I didn't get 90 bags because they ordered the blue Kind twist, but we can't ship more. So we literally, like, when we submit a claim for you to Tricare, we bill for 80 breast milk storage bags. So we like, it's interesting. But Kind did come up with the Tricare DME pouch, is what they're calling it. And unless you're using that feeding system, which it seems like a great idea to get this, the blue twist is what they call, but unless you're using the feeding system, which has the bottle and the nipple, then I would recommend going with the regular bags or the direct to pump, the Tricare DME pouch, which is listed on our website.
So now steering away from pumps. So I found out after pregnancy and after I had already bought my compression band that Tricare covered them. I was like, well, who knew and who would have told me? And then looking on your site, I found out, oh my goodness, they cover compression socks, which I know so many women need when our feet swell. So can you tell us how we go about getting those, and when did that change? Did we all just miss out all those years because we were uneducated?
Yeah, well, no, they that's compression socks, Tricare has covered for a long time. The maternity support belt, that's relatively new, and also a postpartum compression band, which is awesome. That helps everything, especially if you've had a C-section. It's so comforting afterwards. But yeah, the compression socks are covered, and some of the companies are coming up with uniform compliant colors, which is nice as well. But so if you have Tricare Prime, those things are covered at 100%. With Select and Reserve, sometimes deductibles and cost shares come into play, but we would figure all that math out for you if you wanted to order. But Tricare Prime, those the compression socks and the maternity support belt and the postpartum compression are all now covered covered benefit, which is great.
So do you have a rough wag or a estimate on how much Select and Reserve would have to pay out of pocket for all the items, saying, you know, breast pump, socks, compression band, postpartum compression band?
Well, the breast pumps are always covered at 100%. And it really depends on the person's plan. You know, we have this little calculator that depends on how much they've paid towards their deductibles. And sometimes it's nothing. You know, it just depends on where they are at, you know, in their pregnancy, and, you know, how much they've paid towards their co-pays and cost shares and all that kind of stuff. It's literally different every time, but it's a manageable cost. It's not super crazy or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I asked because there's some initiatives out there that are having women look at possibly being able to switch to standard, or sorry, it's called Select now, right? During pregnancy, so they can be seen on an off-base clinic if it's available. So having those details on, hey, it's not just being able to see a doctor, but now you know, have a little bit of money out of pocket where it would have all been covered beforehand, having those facts. So knowing that we'll have to pay a little bit may also veer that decision if a active duty person wants to get off Prime.
That's interesting. I would love to learn more about that. I was not aware of
It's just
that.
an initiative. They're thinking of ideas right now. That's one that's on the board because, you know, not everyone wants to have a birthing event in a military facility. They want to choose the doctor of their choice. So just wanted to get that out there and get the juices flowing. But all right, so now the navigation part. Because to be honest, I didn't realize that I had to go through a company. I thought I just contacted like Tricare and be like, give me my breast pump. So how do we, you know, step by step, how do we navigate through the breastfeeding shop to get our pump accessories, compression socks, whatever it may be?
Well, a lot of times Tricare, they have these liaisons on the bases or whatever. A lot of times they will refer to the breastfeeding shop, but you know, or, you know, another company, which I hate, but we are well known at most of, you know, thankfully, gratefully, at a lot of the military treatment facilities. But it's always patient choice, right? That's at the end of the day, you know, I really try to let moms, because I've had moms call up and say, my insurance company said that I can only get this kind of breast pump. And I assure everybody, and I don't want that kind of breast pump. And I'm like, no, that's the company, the medical equipment company only offers that breast pump. So I always try to educate, like, listen, it's so where you go to get your breast pump is totally up to you. Hopefully it's with the breastfeeding shop. But if you know, are referred to another company and they only have, you know, breast pump XYZ and you want something else, rest assured you can go to any company that's in contract network. We are an in-network provider. So, you know, it makes it's great for us, but we take the paperwork and all that stuff off the shoulders, and you don't have to worry about it. You know, we've got this down, you know, I guess 5 years since 2015, but, you know, all you really need to do, I know that you guys are pregnant and, you know, working, not working, have other kids, whatever the situation is. So I always think it has to be super, super easy. So I enhanced our online order form, which is right on the website. We even have a sample prescription. So if you're confused or your doctor's office, you know, some doctor's offices like the sample prescription, but it is on the website that you can bring to your physician's office. And then you just fill out 10 questions, not even, right on the website. You can take a picture of the prescription. We can contact your doctor's office for you. It gets a little tricky overseas to try to contact the physician's office. It's easiest and quickest if you have the prescription, but we're more than willing to do that for you. Take a picture, submit it, and then, you know, within, you know, we are very current on our orders. So we're, you know, usually if overseas would take about, you know, 2 weeks. It really depends on what mode of transportation the military's using to do shipments overseas. But we have warehouses around the United States. So if you're in California, you can get the breast pumps, you know, the next day. We even ship to Alaska and Hawaii as well. So, you know, the information gets input in the website, and then we take it from there. If there's any issues, you know, and we try to communicate saying, you know, we got your order, and, you know, 95% of the orders come through really clean and ship the next day. So you don't even have to worry about it. Try to make it stress-free for you guys.
Now, can we put our initial order with you in before 27 weeks, or should we wait till 27 weeks to put our prescription in?
If you want it off your plate and don't want to worry about it, you can put it in beforehand, and then we just schedule a delay ship. So if you're putting it in at 20 weeks, we'll hang on to that order, let you know, hey, it's a little early, we're going to hang on, and then we schedule it to ship at that 27-week marker.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was telling the girls we are very checklist oriented. We just want to get them all done. So I think I put mine in at like 12 weeks. And it was right in January 2019 timeframe. So it was when Tricare was switching to finally putting it in at 27 weeks. I was like, where's my breast pump? I'm like, well, now we're going to stop it. But it was probably honestly for the better. So I didn't lose it. Nothing happened. You know what I mean? I learned more about that process. So just knowing that we can get it off our plate a little bit early. And then the last question I have for you, Patty, is especially with COVID now and shipping delays, do you know how long it's taking for accessories and supplies and everything to get to the person ordering?
We're, sometimes we're a couple of days out with processing orders, but for the most part, we're processing yesterday's orders today. So it should be, and then it would go to shipping the very next day. So only a couple of days. We get the stuff out really quickly. And if we know that you need it urgently, we'll pop that to the top of the list. Now, so, within a week, you should, if you are placing an order, you should be getting your accessories. We can ship it the same day, even if needed. Overseas is always a mystery to me, because it's fascinating, but we've learned that sometimes, once it leaves the APO, just so you know, we don't have any control over that shipment. So, sometimes it gets there within a week if it goes by plane. But I think a couple years ago, they were taking all shipments and putting them on a boat. And the moms who had gotten their, pumps, within a week, and then all of a sudden their friends it was taking a month. I had no idea what was happening. So we called the post office and they said, we can't tell you how we ship things because it's a matter of security. But we just figured that that's probably what happened. Usually they ship by plane, so it's no more than 2 weeks. Okay. So pretty quick for overseas. Yeah.
Hopefully that won't change. A month sounds extremely long for something that you need.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because I always feel like it's our fault, but literally we have no control. We'll get it to the APO within a day or two, but then after that, it's out of our hands. But for the most part, it's pretty timely.
So Patty, I want to open up the floor to you because, you hear a lot of questions from moms across the globe. What are some of the most common questions that you get that you can answer to all the listeners right now?
Well, we're getting a lot of questions about these wearable breast pumps. And, I feel like if you're a first-time mom and they are so much fun and really great technology. And these LV and Willow, they are coming out with, what an amazing idea these things are. And they're evolving and coming out with new technology. But my thoughts are right now, those companies, they tend to be limited with their flange sizes just because of the nature of it. So if you're really small or, really 32 millimeter, then I would suggest going with something a little bit more standard. But if you're pretty set on what size flange you would be, then those are great. Those are really fun alternatives. They're a little bit more expensive, so there will be an out of pocket, but the wearable, the technology is just amazing and where things are going. And I would say, we just for the moms overseas, because we do a fair amount overseas, is, we just make sure we always prefer the dual voltage breast pumps. The manufacturers, every time I talk to them, I say, is that dual voltage? And they look at me, they're like, why are you asking? I said, because we just shipped to, I don't know, Mariana Islands or wherever we're shipping stuff to, but we ship all over the world, all over the world. And, just so everybody knows, I just appreciate everyone's support. I started this in 2015 and, we're not perfect, but we really try hard, and, rest assured, we always just want to do what's right by you guys, taking feedback, always trying to be better. So, that's our goal at the end of the day as the Breastfeeding Shop. But anything we can do to help you, please always let us know. And we love working with Tricare. It's a great policy, very, very grateful. They've made a lot of changes, Tricare have, but I think that the policy is very stable and it's a great one. So I appreciate them, and I'm sure that I know that you guys do too. So the benefit's wonderful.
No, absolutely. And you brought up a good point that I never even thought about, the dual voltage, especially, in a couple of days, me going overseas. So do you have it labeled on your website of which ones are dual voltage, or do you know off the top of your head which ones are dual voltage, or are they all dual voltage?
For the most part, they're all dual voltage now. The Medela, the pump and style, is not dual voltage, so they recommend a battery pack. But a lot of the bases have American voltage, but sometimes they don't. So it's fine. You have to be cognizant of what you're plugging it into. But it is listed on the website.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that. So I would have burnt something up. So Patty, if any of our listeners have any questions or want to reach you with any breastfeeding questions, where can we reach you at?
You can reach us at, we have a chat bot now on the website, which I'm very excited about, and you can leave a message there, or you can email customer service at the Breastfeeding Shop, which is also listed on the website, or you can call us. I'll leave the phone number at the 866-255-6779, or just the chat bot on our website as well. So we try to make it, or even on Facebook, starting Instagram, thinking about doing TikTok. I don't know, but we're pretty out there socially. So, please send us any kind of questions that you have.
Well, I just appreciate you being on here, Patty, and really just informing us of what we are authorized to, because like you said, those postpartum compression bands are amazing. I definitely recommend getting sized in person at a store beforehand, because I think I bought a small and I could barely fit into it afterwards. So maybe size up depending. But
Yeah.
actually, I did have a question on that. So do you only cover with certain brands for compression belts?
We are using Motive Medical right now because it's really a lot of science behind it. We had a lot of luck with that brand. Always open to suggestion, but it's nice, it's comfortable, it's a nice material, so there's lots of companies out there, and we always try to kind of partner up with one. But we also have a sizing chart on the website as well. So, and it should be fairly true to your not pregnant size, your pre. Yeah, so it's, we don't get a lot of returns with those. So the sizing guide is pretty accurate. But right now we like Motive. But again, if everybody wants something different, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to include all your social media sites, all the notes from this podcast on our episode notes, and that can be reached at themilitaryworkingmom.com/episode 037. So thank you so much for being on, Patty.
Thank you. Have a great move. Take care.